This is all the information that you need to know for Hurricane Beryl in 6 minutes or less. We're going to try to get you in and out of here, but explain in detail what's going on. So I apologize this loop isn't loading 100%, but this is Hurricane Beryl, and it looks very different this morning. Yesterday, its eye kind of closed off. This is not really... it is weakening, but it's not really that much to be concerned about. This is not now a Category 1. It's still a Category 4 powerful hurricane. And basically, some of the mid-level clouds got entrapped there. So we're noticing by the radar loop here, it still has a strong outflow here. It is moving a little bit more westward as it is weakening slightly. And that's because more of the low-level winds are out of the direct east to west direction. So it is being pushed in that direction as well. So those are the most obvious things we can see from satellite. It still has a pretty strong outflow. So here's the chart that I was showing you. There's the lower level winds that are more out of the east direction. Those winds, you see them pointing in this direction. So there's that, but the stronger it is, the more this way it wants to go. So that is something we continue to watch. And then if we look at the shear that it's about to encounter, that is pretty insane. So it's going to shear it up, it's going to weaken it, and you can see it kind of wobbling a little bit more. And then crossing the Yucatan Peninsula, and the GFS over the past couple of runs has been pretty consistent. I'm going to show you. This is Sunday night here, and the previous run, previous model run. So it is looking like we're getting a little bit of consistency here, although the Euro model still wants to keep on pushing it further to the south. It has it as a weaker storm and staying further on to the south and being steered in that direction. So that is what's going on. And overall, models are not too much different from what they were yesterday when I gave you the update. Here's a look at HWRF. This is the model I trust the most, so I'm going to show you it. It has it crossing south of Jamaica, so this is a big thing because if it doesn't cross south of Jamaica, if it crosses over Jamaica, it would be impacted by those islands. This one, it doesn't have it impacted by those islands, so that's at least something important to note. And let's look at another view to look at where its steering currents will be. So recently, what I talked about yesterday was this. It's called a cutoff low. You'll see it right here, this in blue. This will keep this high locked in place, which will keep Beryl underneath the ridge. So I was talking about how Louisiana likely not going to see a direct landfall. But you see this other system here that will try to go and weaken the ridge here, and that could be interesting here because now it doesn't really have any steering currents, and it'll be kind of lagging around here. You have a high pressure system locked here. This is not going to want to move. You have a low pressure system, and that means a slow moving system. Now, what different models are starting to show is a possibility of remember that tropical wave behind Beryl that has a 10% chance to form? Some models are showing it catching up, this wave catching up with this, and then dumping a whole bunch of rain for Texas. See the wave right here? So we're looking at ongoing rainfall amounts for the Texas coast, even up to Louisiana here. So that is something that is at least of concern, that you could potentially get a double barrel system as this low level pressure will move faster because it is weaker. So that is something at least to consider, even a double land impact from this system. Right now, Invest 96L is the storm that's behind it. It did weaken yesterday, but you're seeing now it being impacted by northerly shear and a whole bunch of dry air based on the water vapor. That is really not in a favorable environment right there. So it's at least worth a watch. Right now, it is crossing those same islands that Beryl cross, but that is my key main takeaway about what's currently going on, that low pressure system going on and everything like that. So let's take a look at the forecast cone. You can see it heading more of a westward direction as it weakens today, south of Jamaica, which I was concerned about, and it is still fairly strong with 145 mile an hour winds, and this is not something to complain about, but notice they're expecting it to become weaker than a Category 3 hurricane as it makes impacts in Mexico. Now, as far as rain everywhere else, it is kind of hard to tell based on its exact impact, but if you are in the Mississippi area like I am, expect some rain over the next beginning of into late next week too. I don't think it will be a scenario where we get tropical tornadoes and stuff like that, but it could be a scenario where we get dumped a whole bunch of rain. But I'm not going to compare this to Harvey, but it could, and let's see what this model is particularly saying with the rainfall, because I didn't check that. it is saying not too much. It's saying about 4 to 5 inches of rainfall here with the system. So this could potentially be a rain event. And at least a little bit of a saving grace is Beryl is right here right now. Temperatures are above normal, about 29 degrees Celsius or 85 degrees Fahrenheit. When it starts getting here, some cooler waters, not as deep as they are here. So I'm expecting Beryl to be a little bit stronger than what the models are saying, but when it gets here, conditions are still favorable, but not as favorable. And plus, it'll still be dealing with a whole bunch of shear in that area. Let's pull up the, not the satellite imagery, but the upper level wind field real quick here. You could see that, yeah, these are the winds that are going to be going on. This is what's going on right now. But as that low pressure system, you see it here, enters it, there's going to be another upper level low, which isn't good for storms, believe it or not. That actually creates shear, and that'll keep on impacting it when it heads into the Gulf. So let's take there's the shear that's going on there. There's the shear that's going on here. So it is about to encounter a whole bunch of things that aren't good for it. So yeah, that's the case. That's the case now. Looking like higher likelihood that we'll make landfall impacts here, less likely here. It could be a huge rain event. And yeah, that's what I'm currently thinking. And thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay tuned for this channel for anything weather. And I'll see you guys in my next one.